Welcome to an overview on data entry in the charting tool. To get to a patient's chart, we're going to click on the name of the patient in the Appointment tab or the Patient tab. As seen in Opening a Patient's Chart and Overview of a Patient's Chart, we're going to first select our encounter sheet. And then we're going to move to the right to our blue New Consultation Chart button. Here we are in the charting tool itself, where we can begin with data entry. On the left side we have our level 1s, moving across to the level 2s, and level 2 down and level 2 right. We begin with level 1 from left to right. We'll click on Treatment Began. Here we can document when the treatment began, and this is a good place to show you a couple of different features that we have. Once we click on this checkbox, we notice to the right a calendar and a clock appear. The current time on my system reads 3:16 p.m. So by clicking on this clock, we have the current time on the system. We can also document a date using the calendar. Let's move down to type of visit. We have 3 types of visits. In this case, we're running an initial evaluation for this patient. Let's move to current complaint. Here we have different options to choose from. If we begin from the top, we can start with patient describes a sensation of joint locking. From here, we wish to enter more data and add some notes. We wish to say patient describes a sensation of joint locking. This is most likely due to a recent fall. I'm going to type this in now. The first method by which we've input data is by typing. Another way in which we can input data is by voice dictation. PracticeSuite is currently equipped to run any sort of voice dictation software that you use, and if configured correctly, can actually be entirely navigated with voice dictation. In this case, I'm only going to be demonstrating how it works with respect to data entry. I'm going to go ahead and delete this note here by unchecking the component. I'm going to click the patient describes a sensation of joint locking, and I'm going to turn on my voice dictation software. This is most likely due to a recent fall period. And as you can see, it pulls it in as if I had simply done this in a Word document. The same system works with a stylus and a tablet. If you're using a tablet, you would check the checkbox and handwrite in this field shown, and it would pull it in as text. The final modality by which we can pull information into this note with data entry is using the level 2 right and level 2 down. We begin by noticing that there is a plus button in the upper right corner of all level fields, level 1, level 2, and level 2 down and level 2 right. There is no difference between level 2 down and level 2 right. They only depend on where you wish to see the variables show. In this case, we're using the narrative, this is most likely due to a recent fall. So let's go ahead by click on patient describes a sensation of joint locking, and let's build a level 2 right component so that we don't have to type it in every single time. I will click on this plus button where we have a little section to create our level 2 right and type in this is most likely due to a recent fall. And now we can see that we have a new level 2. Another reason for joint locking, perhaps. Patient suffered from a recent case of tetanus. So what I am doing right now is I'm setting up canned phrases in level 2 right, and that way the next time I come in here to patient describes the sensation of joint locking, I can click on this box, I can type in patient suffered from a recent case of tetanus, or I can click and it pulls it in exactly as if I had typed it. And we can do that for any of these level 2 components. Notice that if I click on patient report being diagnosed with, we have Parkinson's disease. Level 2 right and level 2 down are completely dependent on the level 2 component from which they were created. In other words, if I uncheck patient reports being diagnosed with, you notice that the plus boxes in level 2 down and level 2 right no longer appear. And the reason for this is that you cannot generate level 2 right and level 2 down components out of thin air. They must be attached to level 2 components. Hand tremors, for example. If I wish to create some canned phrases here, I would click on this plus button and say, due to arthritis. But due to arthritis is not going to show up if I click any other level 2 component besides hand tremors. Again, the implications for this are that you can set up sentences here for each of these components that allow you to simply click through very quickly